Andre Brown later on becomes Dr. Dre. The Dr. Dre for the Yo MTV Raps, which, by the way, they named Yo MTV Raps off our album, Yo Bum Rush the Show.
Right. What's up? It's your boy DJ Scratch, and today I'm here talking to a hip-hop icon, Grammy Award, Lifetime Achievement recipient, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, hip-hop icon, the one and only 1/3 of Public Enemy, my man Chuck D. What's up, Chuck?
Takes one to know one.
Man, listen.
How you doing, Scratch?
I'm great, man. I'm blessed to even be here talking to you, man.
Man.
One of my first time experiences in hip hop, one of my greatest, I might say my greatest first experience in hip hop is scratching. The first time I scratched on a major record was EPMD, So What You Saying, and the record that I used was a Public Enemy record, Public Enemy #1. Please don't sue me.
No,
that was 36 years ago, but please don't sue me.
No, you understand. Back in the day when you did that scratch, those were badges of honor. That was a badge of honor that you would even use that scratch, because we come from the DJ idiom ourselves. We came from radio DJs and also scratch DJs. No big pun intended. But when you actually did it, it was like, oh yeah, it's like it's family. It's 360-degree cycle. And then plus, Eric and Paris from Long Island, the Charlie Marauder studio that me and Hank visited. We never recorded there, but we visited and talked to Charlie, and everything was all cool. So it was all in the family anyway. And so when that came about, and I think in the beginning, Caleb Boss came out on tour. He went back, you came out.
Yeah.
And that was 88. And then we also toured in 88. When we had the first Bring the Noise tour.
Yes.
In the winter of 88, because up to that point, hip-hop tours were only summertime, and we went out in the winter, and that was the first hip-hop tour that went to all the arenas in the wintertime, and so I got to thank you for that.
Yeah, man, appreciate it. Thank you for clearing that record. Hip-hop, when we first heard it, wasn't an occupation yet.
Right.
So back then, who was the MC or DJs or the person in the moment that made Chuck D want to be like, yo, that's dope, I wanna rhyme too? Who was that? What was that moment?
Well, coincidentally, Scratch, I was rhyming at my college at Delphi just to shut people up from grabbing the mic, because I want to get my dance on. It's college. I was already college age, right. Man. Rappers Alike came out in 1979. I was a sophomore at Delphi. So when they had the Thursday night throwdowns, right? The DJ, Larry T from Freeport, Long Island, would be the DJ hired by the frats to do it Thursday night. Boom, we're going to have the Black Night. Everybody used to convene there. Everybody like Eddie Murphy, Hank Shocker, everybody. So that was the place to be in Nassau County, Long Island. And it was my school. And, as soon as they would play a record, then they had an open mic. And everybody from Brooklyn, the Bronx, because that's what the Delphi was. Everybody from all over.
Right.
They thought automatically that, okay, what they heard in the summer, people getting on the mic and rocking it, they thought that because they was from the place that they get on the mic too. And most people on the open mic was terrible. So if you asking a girl to dance, right, and back in the day, it's like you ask a girl to dance. No, I'm not no savoir-faire type of dude, you know what I'm saying? So you got to have the game. So right. When the dance, get a girl on the floor to dance, and all of a sudden somebody get on the mic and it's chaos.
So it's messing up the hustle.
I never learned the hustle. When the Freak came out, it was open season. So then I'm talking 1978 to 79, right? So then cats get on the mic and you just F up the whole groove. And the girl don't want to dance with you no more. So I was like, you know what? That mic is gonna be open. I'm gonna get on that mic and I'm gonna sit everybody down. So there'd be a long line trying to get the mic. They'd be playing Love Is a Message or Good Times or whatever. I get the mic, sure enough, what do you think? There's nobody behind me. Nobody want to touch the mic after I'm on it. I only did it, and then Hank heard me in one of them and was like, listen, Spectrum City, I got this thing. I was always a fan of them. And he says, yo, I need an MC. And I was like, I'm doing this just as a thing. But back then it was about the voice on the mic, as opposed to bars you have or rhymes you gotta have. If you had a 14-year-old voice, you wasn't getting on the mic.
Right.
If matter of fact, if you was a girl, you wasn't getting on the mic either. You had to have one of those MC voices. I had it. I had some rhymes. I kept the party going. I didn't get in the way of the DJ because that was the number one thing.
Stay away from the transitions. Don't talk over the transitions.
Yeah, stay away from the transition. Know when the DJ's dropping in another beat. Be able to be a smooth transition over there. So drop out when he comes in. I had all that rhythm down because I enjoyed hearing a good party with an MC and a DJ in lock. If the MC ain't in lock with the DJ, leave the MC, cut the mic off.
That's right.
The DJ can figure it out themselves. And then they got rap records. Sit all these amateur MCs down. and that was the beginning of that was the beginning of the end of the open mic. But I was able to be somebody, even with rap records, that would still get on the mic. And when I joined Spectrum in the beginning, it was more like navigating the record. So even if it was a rap record or instrumental, maybe I rhyme a little bit here. Maybe I let the record play there. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to the DJ. The DJ is always in control and in charge.
Right.
And you have to understand that you have to understand that sonic playground. The MC was not in step with the DJ. It was a garbage trash event. And a garbage trash event back in those days, and even later on, it could be a security risk.
Absolutely. So how did Public Enemy come to be? How did you, Flavor Flav, and Terminator X meet? How did y'all form the group?
We were all participants on WBAU at Delphi Radio, and we was the first to actually integrate ourselves in radio and playing rap records and talking about them right. We were very scientific about it. And we became the radio station that Run DMC listened to because they was right over in Hollis.
Right.
And then Curtis Blow and all them. We were doing our thing in Long Island. And in the city, they wasn't playing rap as much as us and breaking it down. Like Mr. Magic was on. And then you had Red Alert and Chuck Chillout, who they never let talk. It'd only be on the weekends on Kiss. Yep. And then you had the end of the dial, you had WHBI.
Awesome 2.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome 2. And then you had the Zulu Beats. And that's where Magic came out of. So we aspired to be that.
Right.
We didn't want to make records, but when we made records, I think this will spark a bulb in you. I thought that what we were doing is something that I wanted to emulate World Famous Supreme Team. Because I thought what World's Famous Supreme Team was doing on WHBI with CLR Justice and Mastermind, I thought that chaotic everything was something that's something that turned me on.
You know, I never thought about that because just their production and everything does remind me of Public Enemy's production.
Yeah, the production, people calling.
Yeah,
I mean, record stopping. Yeah. You know, this is chaos, but it was something that
organized chaos.
And very few people bring up World Famous Supreme Team as an influence.
Absolutely.
World Famous Supreme Team was definitely an influence for us and me.
So how did y'all make it to Def Jam? Because back then, you know, Rush Management, Rolling with Rush had just became a thing. Everybody wanted to be rolling with Rush.
Yeah.
How did y'all make it to Def Jam Records and Rush Management?
One of the DJs, two of the DJs that helped make the WBAU scene was Bill Stepney, who later on became the first executive at Def Jam under Russell Simmons, Rick Rubin. And then also after Bill was Andre Brown. We were all in the same class. Andre Brown later on becomes Dr. Dre. The Dr. Dre from the Yo MTV Raps, which, by the way, they named Yo MTV Raps off our album, Yo Bum Rush the Show.
Right, wow. I never knew that. I never knew that.
So Dre actually was working. He was actually the first DJ with the Beastie Boys. So they needed Rick Rubin was the first DJ. And he moved on into production and doing his thing from the dorm. And then Dre moved in that slot, and he traveled with them on the Raising Hell tour. Remember, Run especially, and Jay, they're all listening to what we doing at WBAU. They're not even listening to the city.
Right.
Because everything we were doing is like anything that pop up out of Rush, we on it. So I used to drop promos for WBAU, and a lot of them. and running them and the Beasties used to take them around as their tapes as entertainment tapes. They wasn't taking anything from the city. They was taking the WBAU tapes.
Right.
And I did Public Enemy #1. I remember going up there to promote a tape to promote the radio station. But basically, it was happening like, there's a longer story with that without getting long-winded. But really, Blow Your Head was something that I used to listen to while I was skating. I'm a skating freak.
James Brown.
Right. I was a skating freak at Roosevelt Roller Rink. And the DJs used to play Blow Your Head, but they could not connect. You already scratch Short Break, but back in the day, you might have been nice, but to connect that break and Blow Your Head, wah, after the wind up,
yeah,
and the beat would come in there, and then it was a hard thing to connect. But it was always in my head, like, damn, man, yeah, if this beat could just go on and on, I mean, because people would lose their mind.
And y'all slowed it down.
Yeah,
like,
and they would play Blow Your Head, Scratch, after like couples. Right. So they'd be like all skaters. And let me tell you, when you go talk about gooning out, it was bananas when and that beat come in. It would be cats.
It was like the first MOP Annie Up. It was like that.
It was bananas, bro.
It's that sonic, that loud noise.
Yeah, I'm telling you, when it was a skating thing, and then it was always in my head. And so when I made the promo, I made a pause tape out of it and made a promo for WBAU. Jay was hanging out up at BAU. Dre was the radio jock. I passed it over Jay's lap into Dre. Dre played it. It became like a folk. It became like a legendary thing in '85, and they were playing their tapes. Rick heard it. Rick was like, we got to get this guy. I turned Rick down for 2 years.
Wow.
It's like, because they just started Def Jam in '84.
Yeah.
But we wanted to become radio guys. We didn't want to become recording. We did Spectrum City as a record, but we wanted to be, could you imagine, think back, because I don't need to be long-winded about this. Could you imagine if we wanted to be world famous Supreme Team like or like BLS or Kiss.
Right.
But they were like, rap is only going to be in the weekend.
Late at night.
A couple of songs where, yeah, Houdini's going to get in there, whatever. But keep that hip-hop crap, keep that shit all the way out of here till the weekend. And that's what we wanted to do. And basically, it was no way we could get in radio. They had one radio station out there in Long Island called WLIR, and they did punk. And Bill worked for them. If they would have flipped their format in 1984 into being rap in '84, we would have been like legendary, man. I mean, we ended up being legendary.
Legendary.
But in radio, we would have been legendary because our format was just, it was revolutionary, man. It played rap right. And I feel in this city, Scratch, in this world, I still don't feel that they've done rap right.
Yeah, I agree. I
mean, the rock guys get it, man. I mean, you can't go into any one of these companies and play around with a Styx or Def Leppard, and they ain't even Led Zeppelin or the Rolling Stones. And they take care and they curate that and caretake it, and you can't penetrate it with negligence or nonsense. Rap music and hip hop, we done seen the swamp that they turned it into.
Absolutely.
And we done seen like, okay, just the DJ. You know, okay, you get them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, these positions and the skill set should be revered. Like your skill set, it should be, and it is to people that know as much when you talk about like, you know, Coltrane or Charlie Parker. You know, it's like Scratch with the turntables. Why not? But if you don't have the people with the body and the knowledge and the wherewithal, not only to know what it is, but to make musical comparisons.
Right.
This is what we always lacked.
And that's why I'm here at the block.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they understand that and they appreciate that. They appreciate the history. They have the actual knowledge. And the people that are in place actually have the knowledge of those artists and these DJs as well. Unfortunately, every radio station isn't like that. But fast forward, now you're touring all around the world. What was the craziest tour experience you ever had? I have two Public Enemy crazy tour experience. I'll share one, but what?
Well, I mean, every tour has its own characteristics. I remember, playing, headlining with Luke, and I'm like, okay, we're going to get the stage set up for you guys. And Luke said, no, keep those things up that the S1s were on top of.
Yeah.
He said you would put dancers on top of it. So it was like, Luke said, you ain't got to make a stage change. And so, those were all experiences for my man. And then also like the rock rap hybrid, like when we toured with Anthrax, that was crazy because every day I had to step my level up in speed and power. It's one thing to have power, but to step it up in speed and two different genres, that was something that when I came from that tour, I said nothing could stop me. Now, I don't know, I categorize as an MC like others because our brand, our style is different. Mine was speed and power.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you couldn't mix Public Enemy records with other records. You know what I'm saying? You had to mix Public Enemy records with Public Enemy records because they're crazy and it's crazy like that. So I learned from that tour with Anthrax that if it wasn't crazy and fast and powerful in 91, by 92 with Anthrax, I came up out of there like, yo, man, because it was like one of those things like either you do the stage or the stage and the song's gonna do you.
Yeah.
So I had to be like totally 100% fit to do those songs because your lungs is going like this.
Yeah.
And not a lot of cats. I mean, Kane could deal with speed and power and dance. I'm dealing on speed, power, and throwing fists and fighting and jumping like it's punk.
It's all about conditioning. It's about conditioning, really, because Big Daddy Kane, LL Cool J,
yes,
were like the main three that had that breath control, running back and forth across the stage, not losing a breath. And making it happen. But I'll share a Public Enemy story. I was 19. I was opening up for Run DMC and Public Enemy on the Run's House tour. And the first show was in England, and in London.
Yes.
Brixton Academy. And right before that, there was a big thing that was going on with Public Enemy because y'all had pissed off Margaret Thatcher. I think she's the Prime Minister of England.
Yeah. We had words for that. We had words for her.
And that was the first time this has ever happened, like rappers pissing off world leaders.
Right.
And Professor Griff was banned from the country.
Right.
And I remember I finished doing my set. I'm the opening act for Run DMC. It's my first time ever out of the country.
Yeah, he wasn't banned from the country. He
wasn't banned?
No, he wasn't banned from the country, and we wasn't banned either. But there was a lot of noise about us.
No, y'all wasn't banned, but it was some trouble. It was after him.
It was about here comes Public Enemy with a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah,
I remember it was after Griff.
Yeah,
and I finish my set and I go in the crowd. I go all the way to the top to watch because I want to watch the show. I'm studying. I'm learning from y'all. And out of nowhere, Professor Griff pops up on the stage, and he was actually banned from that venue, from that city. He runs on the stage and everybody goes crazy because he was banned. He was actually banned that day. And everybody went crazy because he popped up on the stage.
Right.
He gets on the mic, everybody say F Margaret Thatcher, and the crowd sang it. F Margaret Thatcher. F Margaret Thatcher. This is England, by the way. This is a monarchy. You don't talk about the Queen. You don't talk about, it's not like our country where we have.
And that was at
speech.
Brixton. That was the last show that the original four played together up to that time. So I was like, this was his last gig at that particular time before he went off and did the last Asiatic Disciple project on Luke Records. But yeah, we was like, we're gonna do one last show with all of us together, and boom, and that was one for the ages.
He went running back and forth across the stage. Then he left the stage. Y'all finished the show, and he snuck out of England somehow before daylight.
Mm-hmm.
Snuck out of England, went to France. I think they took the ferry.
Yeah.
The ferry to France over, to Dover, and it was all over the news the next day. It was in the paper. I think I still have the newspaper. It was in the paper. Margaret Thatcher, Professor Griff, everything that was said, everybody was after him, but he was already gone out of the country. And then when we got to France, the tour continued with Griff.
Right.
That was one of my
So you was like saying, "Now what the hell am I in?" You was like, "What is this now?" Yeah.
Yeah.
Our interviews, man, were a lot more exciting than a lot of cats' shows, because we would go in the countries and they would be like, the journalists like they are in the NBA, and they'd be like 50 deep, and they not asking like rap questions. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we kind of knew what was coming at us, but we would look at an artist that was kind of playing with us, and they'd be like, "What the fuck is this?" The whole key was like, we were saying something that a lot of people were feeling at a particular time.
Yeah.
Like the Queen, I remember going on stage and calling Queen Elizabeth, BITCH.
Yes.
I was like, so I mean, part of the reason is that they infantiled us by saying, "Oh, here comes the rappers with rap music out of the United States." So they thought it was going to be high school kid stuff, and we gave them more than what they bargained for. So and we said, as you infantile the music, you can't infantile us as far as a people, man, woman, and we spoke for a lot of people that and especially black folks back then in Europe and the UK.
Let's talk about the new album real quick before we close it out, man.
Radio Armageddon really is like a throwback to like what we did at BAU.
Yeah.
The producer is a guy named C-Doc, who's started out as our filmmaker, but he has manifested the learn and development the way the Bomb Squad did things, and with his style, and in the world of, well, you can't use a sample no more anyway. But there's ways to go about it, and there's levels that you can go into and recreate, and I'm not going to say what it is, but his sudden left turn production style and his acceptance of DJs, scratchology, turntablism, MC. When you hear me actually on the record as an MC, it's not like a Public Enemy record. It's more like I'm MCing rappers coming in. So when we did New Gens, I kind of had this quirky style in there, but sort of like MCing. And when you hear Daddy O, it's conventional.
What Rock is my favorite song on the album.
What Rock is, naming topics and
3 different tempos. Like it starts out super high tempo.
Yeah.
And then it goes like half tempo.
Yeah.
And, then the beat switches to like a Miami bass.
Gear changes and sudden left turns in C-Doc's opportunities, and I'm telling you, the next piece of work that this dude does, and it's already in. I can't say anything about it, but it's probably, and it's hard to blow people's minds by listening, because people don't listen with their ears no more. Yeah. They listen with their eyes. They gotta see it. They screen ages. But I'm telling you straight out,
that was a bar.
It's screen ages. Everybody from 8 to 80, they screen ages. They need to screen. But this next thing that C-Doc has done, I call him Brian Eno. Brian Eno is the producer of U2. C-Doc is Brian Eno, because what he's about to bestow into the sonic marketplace, you don't have to like it or you don't have to listen to it, but it's gonna be heard.
Man, that one song changed my mood 3 times in one song.
What Rock is?
Yes.
Yeah, because you rock.
I was driving fast. The beat changed. I slowed down and I'm bopping my head. I'm like,
yeah.
And then it switched to like a Miami bass. Now I'm like this.
Yeah, it's meant to be ugly and misunderstood.
And I had to look, and I'm like, did the song change 3 times? No, this is the same song. This is crazy. This is dope.
Radio Armageddon has no beginning and end to it. It really had no beginning and end to it. So one of the things that, with EP going around and doing promotion today, it's like, okay, this is the song that's sort of like the single, but it got no beginning and end.
Right.
You can't shave singles off of it. And the one, I guess the next one is called Black Don't Dead, which means like, as black folks, we always hear that, Black Don't Crack. It's not really like an MC record, as opposed to like, it's damn near like a radio station with acid poured on it.
It's an amazing project, man.
Yeah.
And thank you for coming through. It's an honor to talk to you again. And how crazy is it that we was on tour when I was 19 years old, and now we're here. I don't. We're grown. We're grown now. We're grown.
Yeah, we share our friends, the Gina Barge and Lee Farmer.
Absolutely.
Out in Chicago.
Lee and Gina, salute, love y'all.
Yep.
Man, it's an honor. Thank you, Chuck.
Well, I'm proud of you of being the hero that you are, the innovator and pioneer that you are, and the fact that you're a technology master. That because I've been hearing you fight that fight for a long time as well.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you.
Enjoyed that video? See more interviews, more performances, and more of your favorite artists by subscribing and downloading the free Audacy app.